Excellent. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Crazy to think that we are just about finished this wellness challenge on our final week. So thank you for everyone who's coming today. I will continue to invite people in if you're in the waiting room. And we are going to begin here. So again, welcome. And it's so crazy how quickly 4 weeks can go by. So we have a few days left of the wellness challenge. A few reminders that this week the challenge is on gratitude. So there is I love it. It's a passionate video to listen to Denzel Washington's beautiful voice telling us about how we should be thankful and grateful in our life. So if you watch that and then practice writing down a couple things that you're grateful for, 1 or more days, I'm sure many of you've heard about this, but how good it is for us to focus on the positive throughout our day because we have a tendency to focus on the negative. So hopefully you are having a grateful and joyful week. Also, team captains, you're going to receive an email later this afternoon with the link to this video that you can be watching for, as well as some reminders for our last few days of the challenge. Now, something that's a little bit different. You get to get 10 bonus points this final few days if you complete the questionnaire that we send to you. That questionnaire is really helpful. Over the years, we've made changes and improvements depending on the feedback that we have received. So Shaunavon will be sending out a questionnaire too. I'll be sending out a link for a questionnaire. It's short, like less than 5-10 minutes, and you get 10 points. So if you are a perfectionist and you get 242 points next week, you can actually get 252. So no higher than 252. And whatever your points are, and if you do that questionnaire, add 10, please. Also, please make sure to get your points to your team captains because it's important for them to get it. Now, I've given you a few extra days because of the February break in case you're on holidays. So we need to have those points into your team captain by February 26th so that we can reveal the grand prize winners on February 29th. And in here, Swift Current, our grand prize winner, team winner, would get $250 to go towards wellness or fitness. Then there will be a big drum roll because we'll be trying to figure out between Shaunavon and Swift Current to see which has the highest average of points. So I'm going to pass it over to Anna. Unfortunately, Dana is not feeling well. She's not with us today, but Anna, if you'd like to say a few words.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Val. So thanks again for kind of the introduction and that little overview. Basically the same thing. We're going to be sending out our questionnaire link in the email today to all the team captains to send to your team participants. So there's a few days left to go. So everyone keep up the good work. And then at the end, we'll do the prize for this week and thank kind of everybody that have contributed. So yeah. And we're excited to see who wins this thing, Shaunavon or Swift Current. We're getting very excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. It's been a real pleasure to have Town of Shaunavon with us. It's just a different twist. So thank you and good luck to both teams. Swift Current just a little bit more. But anyways, it's time to introduce our presenters today. So we have Angela LaFontaine, a physiotherapist from Saskatchewan Health Authority, Brittany, occupational therapist, also from Saskatchewan Health Authority, and they're going to talk to us today about physical activity. Thank you so much, ladies. I know you have very busy lives, and we appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge with us today. And I'm going to try to help by sharing a screen. So we're going to see if this works. So just be patient with me, and then I will mute myself. Everyone else, just also, if you could check that you have your, that you're muted, that would be very nice. I'll just make sure it's on the screen, and then I will mute. Does that look okay, everybody? Okay, so I'm going to move that there and I'll pass it over.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just introduce ourselves. My name is Angela and I'm a physical therapist at the hospital in Swift Current.
And I'm Brittany and I'm an occupational therapist here at the hospital in Swift Current as well.
So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about physical activity and not only just kind of the meat and potatoes of it, how much you should be doing, how often you should be doing it, how hard you should be working, but also just like some practical tips and reminders of how you can just sort of incorporate it into your day-to-day life. So you can go to the next screen, Val.
So we wanted to start just giving kind of a definition, I guess. So this is the World Health Organization's definition for physical activity. So it is any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that requires energy expenditure. So physical activity refers to all movement, including during leisure time, for transport to get to and from placement or from places, or as part of a person's work. So we wanted to use that definition because it's a good reminder that physical activity doesn't just have to be your traditional exercise. It's really every movement that you do during the day can be considered as physical activity. And there's a lot of really good practical ways to get physical activity into your day and kind of increase the amount of activity into your day without having to do a traditional exercise or putting it at like a designated time.
So to kind of piggyback on that idea, again, we sort of, when we think about physical activity, we often think about, traditional things like walking or going for a swim or going for a bike. And we think about those things because it helps to improve the strength of the muscles in our body, the strength of our heart. But we also want to remind you that there's a lot of other benefits to physical activity, and probably because you're at almost the end of your wellness challenge, you probably already know these things. You've probably already noticed them as you've become more active. But we just kind of wanted to touch on a few of those other benefits besides the ones that we think of traditionally. So physical activity helps to prevent and manage non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and dementia. It can help to reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, can help to enhance our thinking, learning, and judgment skills. These are the things we sometimes think about more traditionally. It helps to improve our strength, our bone density, as well as our energy. Physical activity can help to improve our sleep and maintain independence as we age. And so, like I said, we'll often think about, if we go for a walk, we're helping to improve the strength of our heart and our lungs and our leg muscles and those kinds of things. But oftentimes, I think what people find is that when they become more active and it becomes more of a routine in their life, they start to notice things like, man, I'm sleeping better, or I'm just, I have a clearer mind after I go for that walk at lunch, or I feel a little bit better about myself. I'm not feeling as down in the dumps. My self-esteem is a little bit better. And so those kind of benefits are sometimes not things that we necessarily think about or are goals for ourselves when we start to think about being more physically active, but they're definitely things that are known to improve with activity, and oftentimes people notice once they start being more active.
And sometimes those are the things that can actually motivate us even a little bit more to keep being active, right? Is sometimes more of those like psychological, emotional, kind of mental benefits can be a really good motivator to keep doing those activities.
So your wellness challenge will have some guidelines as far as how much exercise and activity you're trying to get in your week, and I'm sure it's based on the guidelines that are recommended. So, like I said, this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the traditional exercise when we think of it. And so I just wanted to go through sort of what the goals are, what we would recommend for physical activity. So generally speaking, we're going to recommend that you're exercising or getting some kind of activity most days of the week. Okay, so if you're not doing any activity right now, we would probably suggest that you start with about 3 times a week with a rest day in between. But once you are well established with your activity, then we want you to try to be doing something most days of the week. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we're wanting you to sort of incorporate it into your day anyway. So that's the goal, that most days of the week you're getting some movement. As far as intensity goes, we would recommend using a test called the TALK test. And so basically what that means is that while you're doing your physical activity, you should be able to carry on a conversation. So if you're with a friend and you're at the stockade going for a walk, or you're at the iPlex walking around, or you maybe you meet at a gym and you're doing some weights, or you're in the mall with your mom and you're doing some walking there. While you're doing those activities, you should be able to carry on a conversation. So if you're walking with your mom at the mall and you notice that she's just not really able to converse with you, she's a little bit out of breath and she just doesn't seem to be able to talk, then she's working a little bit too hard. That intensity is too much. And so that might mean she needs to take a rest, or it might mean that she needs to slow down a little bit. But if you're out for that walk and she is talking a mile a minute and telling you all about her week and not letting you get a word in edgewise, then she's actually not working as hard as she maybe should be or could be. So the talk test is a way to kind of judge, based on the amount of breath you have, how hard you're working. And while you're doing an activity, you should be able to talk. You should be able to converse. If you can sing a song, you have so much breath, you can sing a song, then you probably should try to work a little harder, because you're not working quite hard enough if you have that much breath. But if you're doing an activity and you think, man, I can't talk to my friend, I don't have the breath for it, then whatever you're doing is a little bit too much. So if you're outside and you're at a hill, that might be why, but you might need to avoid those hills if it causes that much shortness of breath. Or if you can sing a song, then you need to find a hill to make it a little bit harder. So the talk test is a nice way to just kind of test yourself. How hard am I working? How out of breath do I feel? And when you're exercising in a safe way, you should be able to carry on a conversation. It would be normal to need to take breaks. So you're happy that your friend or your mom is doing some of the talking because you need to kind of catch your breath. That's okay. But you should be able to carry on a conversation while you're doing your activity.
I was gonna just throw in there, I don't know for how many people watching, if so many people have like the smartwatches and Apple Watches and all that now, and they're monitoring their heart rate maybe closely when they're doing activity and stuff like that. Which is good too. But there are actually a lot of studies that show like the talk test is honestly just as good at like measuring your energy expenditure and the amount of work you're doing as like a heart rate monitor. Like they're very close to kind of determining like what amount of energy or what level of exercise you're doing. So even if you want to do a little study on yourself, that's something you could do, is like, what's your heart rate at when you're kind of doing the talk test? If you do really enjoy your smartwatch and like kind of following along with your heart rate and stuff, you could kind of get that gauge, like do the talk test and kind of check and see what your heart rate is at. And you'll kind of be able to see kind of how hard you're working and what that is. But a lot of the time though, we're not going to go into details about like cardio zones and stuff, but a certain like zone of cardio kind of exercise can really correlate to that talk test. So the talk test is like really actually an excellent way to measure how much like energy you're putting out, to making sure you're at that correct amount of work for you.
Yeah, and then the other benefit of it is that if you don't have a fancy watch, you don't need it.
You don't need it. You can be reassured that the talk test is just as effective. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of an easy, you don't need a watch. No. You don't need a guide about what your heart rate's supposed to be on a piece of paper. No. You're just really listening to your body, essentially. Yeah. As far as time goes, the recommendations are that you're getting physical activity about 150 minutes a week. So we'll talk about it a little bit more, but that doesn't have to be in certain increments. So the goal is 150 minutes in a week, and that can be broken up however it works for you in your world. So keep that in mind. And then the type of physical activity, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but I think probably the most important thing is it's what you enjoy. So picking something that you actually enjoy doing. But the different types would be like cardiovascular exercise, which is walking, running, swimming, biking, those kinds of things. Strengthening exercises are like the body resisted or weight resisted type movements, like a bicep curl with a weight, or a push-up or a sit-up. Those are kind of all strength exercises. And then flexibility and balance exercises are more like what you would think of maybe stretching. Sometimes yoga works on both sort of your flexibility and your balance, those types of activities. We really want to focus on finding something you enjoy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, definitely, like, I think for both of us, but for sure, like in OT, like the quote kind of on the side there, the best movement is the one that feels good to you, and only you know what your body enjoys. The best movement is going to be the movement that you're actually doing, right? And if you don't enjoy an activity, the likelihood that you're going to keep doing that activity is slim, right? So finding ways that you enjoy moving your body is, I would say, like the first hurdle, honestly, is just finding an activity that you enjoy. Setting realistic goals. You know, there are a few people in the world that'll just say, I'm going to run a marathon, and away they go. But for the most of us, that is not really a realistic goal. So, you know, smaller goals that are achievable and that you can be successful at. So at the end of it, you can feel good about it and say, like, I was able to do that. I did a good job. And that's going to increase the likelihood of you doing it again, right? So same with like kind of that easing into it. If you go do too much or go too hard or lift too heavy of weights and you're very sore and very tired and then unable to do anything for the next 3 or 4 days, you're going to think that was awful. I don't want to do that ever again, right? So again, like easing into it, if you haven't been doing a lot of kind of additional movement or you haven't done an activity in a long time, going slow off the start, and whether it's starting with a short duration or a lighter weight or less reps or whatever, there's ways to kind of modify those activities so that you're able to do it successfully, so that you're more likely to do it again. Making sure you're fueling your body adequately for the exercise. We still very much, I think a lot of people feel like exercise and food kind of go hand in hand with weight loss, which doesn't have to be the case. So a lot of time people are doing exercise, but they're also maybe not eating enough food to get the energy that they need in order to do that activity. So if that's kind of an area, if you don't have enough fuel in your body, it's going to be more difficult to do that activity, right? So making sure that you're fueling your body appropriately. And if that's a concern for you, then kind of reaching out to like a dietitian or somebody to help you with that can be really beneficial. Getting adequate sleep. If we're tired, obviously we're less likely to want to do anything, right? So that can be kind of a bit of a cycle. If we're getting enough sleep, then we're more likely to do the activity. Doing the activity can help us sleep, right? So it can be really beneficial. Making it a social activity can be helpful for a lot of people. So asking a friend to join you, joining a gym or a club or a group, whether it be in person or even virtually. Going for a walk with another person, meeting someone for a swim, going for a hike. These things can be more enjoyable if you have a friend along. There's definitely people that don't enjoy, you know, exercise or activity with other people, but sometimes just having that person that can be kind of your accountability buddy, you know, hey, these are my goals. Can I kind of reach out to you and let you know how I'm doing with them? That can be really helpful to kind of keep you motivated too. For those of you with families, whether it's like maybe parents that you want to kind of help them stay active, or if you have young kids, making it more of a family activity is a really great way to kind of include everybody, spend some meaningful time with your family, but also kind of get some physical activity into your day.
Yeah, and so, you know, like we mentioned before, do it when you can. So do it when it works for you. So that might mean it's a 15-minute walk on your lunch break, or, you know, you're at your children's activities and you know, they're busy being active and you are too. So you take them to hockey practice and you go for a walk while they're at practice. So that's kind of part of like building it into your daily routine, because people's lives are really busy and it's hard to fit it in. And so sometimes it's just a matter of using the time that you have. So taking the stairs, taking regular breaks from sitting. One thing that we were chatting about when we were talking about this presentation is just with streaming services. So people using maybe more Netflix to watch or those kinds of streaming things, we don't have commercial breaks anymore. And so things are just kind of steadily coming at you and you don't have breaks. We used to always teach our patients, you know, every commercial break, get up and walk around your island, or every commercial break, do 5 squats, or, you know, something like that. And that actually is kind of becoming a thing of the past a little bit. We said sports maybe is the only thing. If you're watching a hockey game or a baseball game or a football game, there's still commercials if you're watching live sports. So you might have to be a bit more purposeful about that. If you're kind of settled in for the afternoon or for the evening, you know, maybe you have some sort of alarm on your watch that every 15 minutes or 30 minutes you're getting up and doing some kind of activity, whether that be, like I said, walking around your island, doing a few exercises that you would like to get done, just to kind of try to change up your posture and do something different. We work with people who use a standing desk instead of sitting, and oftentimes those are adjustable, so you can do either one. But sometimes that's an option for people that have to spend a lot of their day on a computer doing that kind of work. And then just talking about sort of stacking your habits. So, you know, I could do this at work. Every time I get up from my desk, I do 5 squats and then I go do what I'm going to do. Or, you know, with the activities that you're doing all the time, maybe when you're brushing your teeth, you're doing calf raises or wall sits, or so you can really just take your regular activities that you're doing every day and add some activity while you're doing them. You know, we talk about when you're waiting for your toast or you're waiting for your coffee, you stand at the counter and you do some leg lifts or squats, or, you know, whatever sort of your goals are, to just really think about, just making it part of your routine and part of your day. So maybe it doesn't feel like such a chore, that it's just part of your routine.
And definitely there are, in some situations, there's going to be people that maybe an injury or a disability is limiting them or maybe preventing them from doing the activity that they enjoy. That is a place where, like, maybe you're a PT or an OT can come in handy, like to help you with whether it's like with recovering from that injury if possible, or maybe like adapting or modifying that activity so that you can still participate in it. Just because, like we said earlier, if it's something you enjoy, you're more likely to do it. So we want to try and help and find ways to make sure that you can keep doing the activities that you enjoy. And physical activity is not all or nothing. So you don't have to go for a 45-minute run to count as physical activity for the day, right? So just all those things that we were kind of listing earlier, like using the stairs instead of using an elevator, mowing the lawn, you know, getting a little extra aggressive when you're mopping the floor, you know, like those things are physical activity too, and can really be used to, you know, increase your heart rate a little bit and get a little more movement into your day. So don't feel like because you didn't go do 30 or 45 minutes of intense exercise that you didn't accomplish anything. Like every little bit is something and every little bit counts, and every, you know, that something is better than nothing, right? So just adding those little bits into your day are awesome. And it's a good way to start small and then kind of build onto that. Yeah.
There you go.
Any questions?
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. Just lots of great reminders. It's like we know this stuff, but it's so good to be reminded of it again. And you're right. The way that we do the challenge is 150 minutes per week for 75 points. So every 10 minutes is worth 5 points. So that is why it's kind of established and set up that way. So I'm going to give one last call out for any questions for Angela and Brittany. Well, I'm going to brush my teeth probably with calf raises. I'm not too sure about the wall sit. I used to blow dry my hair and do calf raises all the time. That was one of mine and then somebody caught me doing it in a hotel and they're like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, doesn't everybody? I do calf raises when I blow dry my hair." And they're like, "You're weird." But you know what? You can sneak it in. So thank you so very much, Angela and Brittany, for your time, for your knowledge and expertise. If anybody does have a question later and you want to email it to me, I'm pretty sure I could probably forward it on to Angela and Brittany and they could get you an answer. But thanks again very much for your time. And I think the technology, it worked okay here. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. See if that works.
Hey,
Perfect.
Val, we
Yes.
have one question. Is that
Oh,
okay?
sure.
Do we have time? Okay.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Joe.
I have a question about mobility. Does that fall under stretching to increase your mobility and retain whatever mobility you have?
Like, does stretching help?
Does stretching help, you mean?
Yeah, does it affect mobility?
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
I also was going to do a big plug for a program called Forever in Motion. It has all those aspects. It's a 45-minute exercise program that's led by volunteers. We offer it here, and if any of the small communities would like to get trained, we offer training once a year. It's a fantastic program for all different abilities. I'm wearing my t-shirt today because I just taught a class this morning, but it incorporates all of that, and you can do it right from the seated in your chair. And if it's something that you want to look into, if you type in Forever in Motion under SPRA, there are videos that you can follow. So it would incorporate everything that the ladies talked about today. All right. Well, a huge thank you again, Angela and Brittany. And we're going to move on to a little bit of information here on our last video that we will be having for Lunch and Learns. So ladies, you're welcome to leave. I'm sure you're busy, but if you want to stick around for 3 or 4 minutes, we're just going to be drawing some prizes. So it's up to you. So thank you again. We're all clapping and thanking you. So. All right. Okay, well, we have had all different information through our Lunch and Learn. So this is a huge thank you to everybody that presented over these 4 weeks. But right now I have a couple things that we want to do. Let's do our picking of our prize for this week, first of all, Anna, and then we'll wrap it up with some other information. So I'm going to actually start with Town of Shaunavon, if you don't mind, for this week's prize and any thank yous that you would like.
Perfect. Thanks, Val. So I'll start just with our thank yous. Thank you for all those who participated and the team captains for getting all the points in on time. It was super streamlined this year and everyone did great. A huge thank you to all our prize sponsors. They've been some really awesome prizes. We actually got an extra one too. So we did a fun little vote on the best team name. So Gray Power won that one. So they'll be taken out. They'll be taken out of the wheel for this week. And then thank you to the Grand Coteau for having us join in on the Lunch and Learns. It's been great to partner with that. And on behalf of Dana from Shaunavon Wellness and Leisure and the Town of Shaunavon, thank you to the City of Swift Current and to Val for inviting us to participate and for all your help and the great resources throughout the challenge. We couldn't have done this without you guys. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So I think I can speak for everyone and say that Shaunavon would love to participate again next year. So it's been a really positive experience. And we've made a questionnaire for Shaunavon, so it's going to be on the Wellness and Leisure page of the town's website. So I will kind of just show where that is and I'll do the prize. So this week, it's a mini exercise bike from Jay's Pharmacy. So I will just share my screen, Val, and we'll pick the winner for that. Okay. Spin that. Hey, it's Pharma Fitness, so that's perfect. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Pharma Fitness. I will get that prize to you guys. And then if possible, I don't know if I can see it. I'll just show this is where our wellness challenge questionnaire is. So anyone from Shaunavon can just find it on the wellness and leisure page and click it and then submit it and get that extra 10 points. So perfect.
Fantastic. Well, it has been a real pleasure having Town of Shaunavon. This has been a dream of mine for 12 years to try to get the Southwest and get all these communities and stuff. And it just hadn't worked to this year. And so, you know what? I think this can show how easy, because once it's laid out and I can share it with people, we could have tons of communities doing this. So maybe we'll just continue to grow bigger, and in the Southwest, maybe the province, who knows? Anyways, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure working together, and all the prizes, and congratulations to everyone and the team captains. So I'll just say exactly the same from Swift Current. Thank you to the team captains for getting all those emails out. Thank you to our great prize sponsors. In a social media, after we reveal the prize or the winner, I will also be sharing those specific prize donors again. And Swift Current Kiwanis Club, who every year gives us some funds to help with our prizes and for promotions. And all the presenters. So thank you to them too. So lots of huge thank yous. I'm going to do my prize. Could I have Jody? I see you there. Do you mind unmuting and picking a number between 1 and 21? But you cannot pick number 5, 8, or 19. You can pick any other number, please.
18.
18. Aha! Guess what, Jody? Innovation transformation.
Yeah.
It's Jody's team. All right. So Jody, this week it is, let me just see. Oh, from Evolve Fitness, there's a 1-month membership. And also from Stride Physio and Performance, there is a bag and a water bottle. So you'll figure out, Jody, how you want to figure that with your team. Okay. You could possibly do it for 2 different ones or highest numbers or points. It's up to you. So congratulations to you. I will have it down at City Hall probably by this afternoon.
Sounds good. I can come pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, I'll drop it off today. And then I guess for we'll get those points in. So what we need is those points in by February 26th to your team captains. The grand prize winner will be revealed on February 29th. And for Swift Current, that's $250 towards wellness and fitness. And again, we'll have a drum roll between Shaunavon and Swift Current. So I think that wraps everything up today, unless Anna, there's something I have missed. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming, joining in the Lunch and Learn, but even more, thank you for participating in this year's Wellness Challenge. So have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of the Wellness Challenge, and good luck to all of your teams. Take care.
Thanks, Val.
Thanks, everyone.